Peace, and welcome to In the Circle Ministries. Oh, no, my bad. Welcome to In the Circle Ministries. And this is our virtual YouTube ministry here. And I'm your host, Rico Blakeney. And here on our virtual YouTube channel here, we take things and put them up under the microscope. And we see those things for what they are, up under the light that we can see, up under the microscope that we normally wouldn't see with our naked eyes. And we call that making our plural our singular. Also, there's a scripture that's in the Bible that speaks of having a single eye and the embodiment full of light. So, with that same concept, we take and look at every aspect and avenue of our life, and we put them up under the microscope and find the truth, no matter um, whatever the end results are. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for the truth, and to taking that truth and applying it to our life and seeing what results we get with and by using that truth. Even if we have to replace it with our own truths, our own perspectives, and our own beliefs. And so that's what this channel here is about. Um, so I'm your host, and this is our What's Up Wednesday show. And we have various topics that we talk about here as well on the What's Up Wednesday show. Um, and everything that we do talk about here, no matter what avenue or what topic it may be, they're all spiritual, educational and entertainment purposes. That this is the logic behind the channel and what we do here. But taking life experiences and doing those things and explaining and sharing these life experiences. And so also here we have the what's self mastery. Allowing your higher consciousness to master your lower consciousness and to realize that you are not the body, you are not the things that you're going through inside of this earth, but you are that energy that is inside, that is that thought, that thing uh that is introduced into the flesh and brought out later on as through actions. And so as we work on our self mastery, we master the thoughts that enter into our temple, which we know that all the things that enter into our temple will be transformed into our creation in our kingdom. As things are above, so are below. So the things that we think and we perceive and we believe are the things that we manifest and create into our everyday life. Somewhere in our day to day parliament, we are the architect in that creation. And I know last week we talked about another thing, and we'll get into that. Um, and talk more about it and may speak about it in here because all of it boils down to the same thing whenever you're dealing with anything that we will have. While mentioning that, check out the description section. We have things in our description section and links that will lead you to things that will help you out with other things that we offer, or some of the paid promotions that we have. We have the Indie Circle Ministry, and if you go inside of the Indie Circle Ministry link and look up under the menu section, you'll find the Indie Circle University, where we offer different and various processes and procedures to help you handle and conduct yourself in a private manner while you interact with the public. And for some reason, my sounds funny, so give me a second. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm able to hear. Uh, give me 1 second. And it's crazy 'cause normally my sound works and I can hear it real well. And I may be good on my audio, but I'm just trying to make sure. Uh, let me go here and go to hello. Hello. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna take it as an echo saying that it's working. But yeah. So Our self mastery is what we're constantly working on, allowing ourselves to grow into our higher consciousness to understand who and what we are, and taking those perspectives that we see from up under the microscope and applying them to our life. Um, so, not to get into too much of the dynamics of bringing it up, you have to watch some of the other videos for that. But tonight we have a great show. And the topic of it. What's up, sis? How you doing? She's my sister above and beyond with Corinne. Um, she has two YouTube channels here as well. Um, above and beyond with Corinne, and then the other one is Daily Income with Corinne. I know she's putting up other videos. They're not live videos, but she's putting up videos and content. Um, so if you've already subscribed to her, you already know that she has content for you to continue to be checking out till she come back live or give you more content. But go check her out if you don't know about her or you haven't heard of her. This is my sister who also does and has great advice and great life lessons, and gives you structure and growing within yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and helps you see things in a way that will help you be productive in receiving the goals that you want to achieve out of your life. Well, whether they're financially or through her other channel. She has great energy, has great insight, and she also has her own personal experience. So, um, with there not being not one cookie cut way about it, I always um, suggest that you always be able to glean from anybody that you can get some good information and profitable information you can use in your life. But go check her out. For right now, what I do know, unless she puts in the comment, she's still putting up videos daily. Um, but whenever she come back live, she hasn't. I haven't seen that she's actually done a live video. So she still has content. She's still putting it up. Go check her out. Catch her previous videos and catch up with it. Do some binge watching. Um, and get up to date and catch up to where she's at and what she's doing. So go check those channels out as well. Thank you, sis, for coming out. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Steve, and baby girl as well. So, I appreciate what you do out here in the YouTube world and behind the scenes. So thank you, and I love you guys. But not but anyway, I think the topic for tonight is all about self. Um, and so when I had the thought and was thinking about it, um, I'm gonna do my best to have that same conversation that I had again, and some of the thoughts and ideas that came with it. But a lot of times, whenever you hear about being self, you hear about being selfish or self-centered, and those being bad features or bad characters to have as a good moral individual. Where I would say it varies and it differs. Um, there are times you need to be selfish, and there's times you need to be self-centered. Um, and it's all about the way that you view it or you understand selfishness, or all about being self-centered, or all about being self-oriented, and things of that nature. So a lot of times we deal with ourselves, and we have a concept of ourselves through various ways of bringing the input in, and that help makes up who we are, how we view or how we see things. But as I was saying before, being separate and self-centered was something that at least I know for us and for me was taught that that's something you really don't be, and that wouldn't be a good Christian thing to be or the neighborly like thing to be. So the reason why the whole thought and the process came was thinking from this concept, right? So when it really boils down to it, it is another thing that was given. I feel like that was given to us to keep us in a place to for the person that gave it to us to be able to attain whatever that access or accent that we possess. that they could utilize, have, or could profit from. So from that way of thinking, or that from that way of thought process would keep you um humble, keep you idle, keep you right where they would want you to be, or where it is presumed for you to be. Um, so it was looked as the bad thing. And so when it comes to it, the honestly, uh, when you honestly think about it, that is the only way to attain anything in this material world. That that is all about self, and understanding that is where everything in this material world that you have is manifested only through self, through you and yourself. And I know we live in a world where it's a bunch of things that's out of our control that we could say that we personally didn't create. So yeah, but collectively it has been created through the individuality of individuals. And so the only thing that really matters is self, not the self that's identified with they, them, and others, but the self that's identified with me, myself, and I. Um, Whenever we speak about being God and being God all by ourselves, being the author and the creator of our own faith, being the Alpha and the Omega to all and uh, all that it is, and that only consists in with thine self. When it's broke down on a scale for you to understand it on a bigger scale, for me to understand on a bigger scale, I had to understand it on a smaller scale. So I feel that may be the same way for those that think in the same like way, or may vibrate on the same like level to a certain extent. So um it's still a personal character trait that's up to the individual. And let's say that we use it for an instance to say that there's enough rich people in the world who possess enough uh Federal Reserve, or they possess enough money to rid world hunger and homelessness throughout the world collectively. And just a few people that that do control or have the wealth. So what's up, brother C King Bay? Glad to see you here. He says peace everyone. Thank you for coming out as well. And is everything coming through clear and everything on you guys end? But yeah, so you could see that there's enough wealth accumulated in just that small amount of the how many percent of, they say it's like it's 3% of the population controls, thank you, brother, controls all the world wealth, or there's enough rich people. If we just go through um it starts with a F, Forbes or something like that, and they talk about the most richest people. You go with the most 10 richest people in the world and go back 5 years and look at the or the 10 years and look at the different people who are still wealthy, but just have made a change position in the race, and the other new people that has been entered in, and that there's enough money for them to take care of all the world homelessness and all the world's poverty, and everyone can have a home, everyone um, can be taken care of and fed. So that's just in the monetary game by being able to in purchasing power. That's not counting that there's enough resources out here to whereas you don't have to sell any damn thing. Everyone can be given a fair amount and beyond a proportion for everyone to have the necessities and some of the amenities of life. To have some of what we would call the perks. It's just not the standard SE version or the LE version. We got leather seats and we have electronic windows. We don't just have to roll them up manually or whatever. So some may look or value that and see it in a way like, well, no, that's self-centered and selfishness and so on. Um, or the ones with the money can look at it the same way and say, you know what I mean? No, there's enough out here for everyone to get their own and have their own. So, like I was saying, that's a attribute or a trait that comes into the individual, what they do in the situation, what may vary from circumstances and in whatever situation or given situation that they're given in to the point where you may see one as selfish or selfish in what we call a negative way. And whenever I was out there doing drugs, I was told that I was selfish, and I understood in the manner of what they meant by selfish is that um, whatever I decided to do was that I was selfish in all my other thinking because the drug is what I decided to do, no matter whatever else it was. That's what I wanted to do. That was my preference. And that's what I desired to do. So that was what I done. And so every day or however, whenever, those things that I desired myself to want to get done was done. So the selfish part was that I wasn't contributing into the overall family as far as the mother and father that I come from and the reputation and the lifestyle or the weight that the name carried as reputable people in society and who we were. Or um, I wasn't able to be actively functionable as a father or a brother or uncle, even though I was actively functionable in certain roles. But financially, in a couple other places, I was clocked out. Health wise, accountability, could they count on me to watch the kids and see the kids and the kids get fed and nobody get put no harm way, no hurt, harm, and danger come to the kids? Yes, they could. Could they do it for a day, or could I keep my own kids for a day to a week to a month? Yes. Still did my thing, and they never saw me do what I done. They only seen the outcome. But anyway, that focus and that energy did not allow me to be as productive as I would have thought I would have wanted to be. And the reason why I say I would have thought that's what I would have wanted to be, because I feel like having hindsight now that I am the perfect individual that I am created to be. And those things were experiences or processes I had to go through in order to produce the individual that I am and that you see in the proportion that I share with you here. So, but at that time, I'm living now the things that I seen then. And the things I desired and wanted to do and wanted to be was what I'm living and experiencing now, and lots more. It's actually I've succeeded that I wanted to. I've exceeded that I've seen and desired for myself, and I look forward to doing this shit again repeatedly through my life. Whatever expectations and things I've manifested more and greater. And when I get to the places where I can see greater and think different or think greater, there will I manifest as well. So I look for this repetitive cycle. But that selfishness was a trait that I had to pick up by going through it. And there's nothing wrong with it because I use that same personal selfishness to who I am now. But I'm able to be plugged in or be um, to be a resource or be used in any other position that I put myself into. And they're all for the profit or the gain of that individual or for the family or for the the bloodline that I'm over as far as me and my direct attachments off of my flesh and blood of my blood out of my loins. But um is that this is the same selfishness and self-centeredness you must have with yourself and grow within yourself for you to really understand, from my perspective, the Christ consciousness or the Christ mindset, and having the God complex or having the God consciousness and understanding about you being a God, and that same self-centeredness is the thing that's unshakable no matter what other God, what other entity, what other person, or what other force outside of you may bring or present to make you change or alter whatever it is that you are. So, um, They may be people that have attachments to you that you're attached to in your life through relationship. If it's mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, niece, nephew, friend, associate, homeboy, homegirl, etc. Dot. All of those things. And you can have emotional attachment to those things. And a lot of those things might have been up under the microscope, but when you looked up under the microscope, you looked up under it with a confirmation bias. You didn't look for absolute truth to see whatever it is to be shown unto you that's up under the microscope. The concept of looking up under the microscope is to see whatever the hell is there in its truest and its rawest form without any bias and accepting what you see. Not going into to look for what you want to look for inside of it and trying to identify with what you want to see inside or up under the microscope. So when we take things in our life, a lot of time we still have these emotional attachments because in that's what has happened. Or we've seen the truth and walked away from it and chose not to follow the law or follow the ordinance or the path that the truth would have took you on. And you decided to make your rebuttal, make your decision, and uh, walk away satisfied with the terms of contract that you made with your consciousness or the God of your being and your lower consciousness. So here's another thing. That's the conversation that you're having is with your higher and your lower self. A lot of times they depict it on TV with the God or the angel here and the devil over here, and you're in the middle having a conversation. Yes, this is what's happening in your library or in your manufacturing company at the head of directors, either from the president's or the chief financial officer, with the plant president, and with all the other people that come in here to make your cabinet of your affiliate of your manufacturing company called your brain or your conscience inside of there, inside of your in your soul or inside of your in your head in your mind. This is where all that take place at. And when you leave there with a decision. Some voices are heard, all voices are spoken, some voices are heard because of their audibleness or how loud or how much attention it was drawn to that thought or that word that they gave, or it was heard it was heard in a still soft voice, but it was always heard. It's whether you accepted it or not. But everybody there had a voice and had an opinion and a thought, and the decision was made within your lower consciousness, what brought everything into manifestation to your physical world. Excuse me. So being selfish and being self-centered, you be careful and you're able to take things under the microscope and see them for what they are. And you see that those feelings and emotions are attached to circumstances, individuals, and as I said before, relationships or respect of persons. But to be God, you can have no respect of person. You will take the dumb things of the world and confine the wise, you know, in those manners. So you better look at those things and see what they are, see their root cause, because the truth will reveal itself. And you're either going to govern yourself by those truths and follow those truths and then put those truths to the test to see what they still remain to be that what it started off with did not alter, change, or did not um, morph or transform into another something or whatever, but it produced seeds of its own kind that produce plants or life or situations or incidents that reproduce the same type of thing over and over and over. So you put it to the test and you walk away with those truths up under the microscope. But as I said before, a lot of times we're not able to be that way because we're so caught up in the process of learning. And the process of learning is going through the experience of learning to be self-centered. And a lot of times we do it and we don't know it, or we may not attribute it to that. But whenever you're stuck in your ways and your thoughts and your opinions and your views, you are actually exercising. Hold on one second. Give me 1 minute to make sure. Okay, okay. Um, and I'm back. But what was we at talking about? Okay, and so we do that a lot, like I said, when we get caught in our own concept, thoughts, perspectives, beliefs, and all these other things. And that isn't a bad thing. It's just a process that I believe that we have to go through in order to understand how to utilize that same principle later on into the deliberate manifestation of things that we desire to have in our lives. That this is still another key pillar or a key component that you have to keep it. And so, in order to actually utilize it, then you have to experience and know it to be true in its rawest form. And the only way to get that is to attain it through that. The Bible speaks of mercy. The only way that you can really understand mercy is that you're going to have to understand a reason or need for mercy. You're going to have to understand the depth of the wrong or the tragedy of the sin or the ramifications of your actions that brings about a punishment that is severe. And so then the need for mercy is there. So going through the process and understanding it and being able to utilize this key later on and to help you manifest the things that you do, you learn to channel and vibrate that energy and to harness yourself to keep your everything. We talked about it before in another video about how easy it is to attract or to manifest your fears, worries, or your doubts and your other bullshit that you may have in your head is because in unison your heart, mind, body, and soul has all came into agreement instantly without no deliberation that happens on autopilot. So they all came together real quick and agreed on a thing and a subject matter before being able to see outside of that the outcome and the results that you desire. So sometimes it still manifests bullshit in our life. But whenever we can put those things and understand those things that operate in that same unison and have them same certain principles inside of us to work on autopilot and have our heart, mind, body, and soul, then the manifestation into the physical of the things that we desire and that we've spoken and have here in our God consciousness manifests itself in the same like manner. Those things just come because that is the default setting and it's what has always been operating on. So in a sense, it's good to have those two and to have that understanding so as you can now master and control yourself, your thoughts, in order to put yourself and your thoughts and your emotions, your feelings all in autopilot to bring about what that you do desire, no matter what else comes up. So that selfishness and that self-centered, and it's always been about self, works in that way for the manifesting the things that you desire. So there's always a flip side on everything. A lot of times we grow and we elevate into a vibrational place. We understand the cosmic records. We understand that we are the God and we are the energy source of the society's avatars that produce the source for the avatar to be able to do the magnificent things that it do in its physical states, or having the atoms in our bodies to create this avatar to do what it does in its specificness and work in its magnificent way on autopilot without any assistance from us. We don't have to tell our heart to produce heart cells or heart atoms. We don't have to tell our liver to produce liver atoms. We don't have to tell our skin to produce atoms that produce skin. You know what I mean? It's on autopilot. But we learned that with all of that, that just because we're here and we're there, and we can see that everyone else actually does, and they may not be aware of it, that they are any any less or you're any greater than any of that. We're just all different levels and different experience. So we're the same individual. We're the same God. We're the same consciousness, having different experiences at different time and vibrating on different frequencies. It's the only way this manifestation of this what we call the physical exists. It's the only way it works. So anyway, that means that we can only master and grow within ourselves. We have just figured out that we actually have a user guide now for ourselves, and that everyone else, we assume or are assured that the same way that we come with this user guide, they have one too. But every user guide is just the same user guide in principle, but not in application. Meaning that the user guide for my PlayStation is different for the user guide for my damn vehicle. The user guide for my washing machine is different from the user guide for my pressure washer. It's a user guide. We and ourselves all have our own user guide, and we're growing into understand that now to better use ourselves. So in our self mastery, the only thing that we can master or have mastered is mastering of one self to produce the outcome in the world and the guarding that you want for thyself. So you cannot create that in your wife. You cannot create that in your father. You cannot create that in your mama, your brother, your sister, your husband, your kids. You cannot produce that or say, because you didn't produce this user guide for yourself. You just became privy and aware of it now and able to read and have a little comprehension and understanding or overstanding about what's inside the user guide for proper operation of this vessel that we call life. And so as we go through and we understand that, then we can help stay selfish and remain to self, to stay focused in on self, not what's connected to self, but to self. Me, myself, and I. My wife is attached. My kids are attached. My grandkids are attached. My business is attached. Everything is attached. But I can't focus and worry about those because out of self do the power or the energy to facilitate, support, and to sustain all of those things. This is where the energy source comes from. It comes from self. It comes from within. myself and within themselves too. So we'll get to that in a minute. But your user guide is not like their user guide. There may be similarity. This is why we do what we do on the channel. And we talk about our experiences with ourselves and our user guides and things of that nature, and give insights and views and opinions about how I view, see, and understand and have understanding of myself and some of the other things, right? So you have to do the same thing for yourself. I can't make or fix or go into anyone else user guide and make them vibrate on the same path to get them to give me what I desire from them. I can't get them to vibrate and to see. I can't make my wife vibrate and see on this consciousness level that I am. She does. She handles herself there, but not off of my will and my power, my might. It is just me manifesting the thing that I desire, and it happened to be manifesting through her. So she's desiring and manifesting the same thing with inside of her and desiring certain things for herself. And we're able to come together and to complete the manifestation, but we're selfish in our creation of ourself and our growth within ourselves. So our kids have their own user guide as well. So I can't make Ben, and the reason I'm able to come to this conclusion or this resolution is because of what I was taught in religion, and it was cookie cut, and everybody could follow this. Christ is the perfect example, cookie cut, and then just follow that to the T, and you get these results, and you'll have it. Just have faith, no matter what it looks like. May not be what it actually is, because what it actually is that this is what you are. You are a child of the Most High God. You've been saved, redeemed, and baptized in the blood of the Lamb, and now you are saved from hell and the rapture, and you are given all the promises of the glory in the afterlife that comes with seeing God face to face and going into the kingdom of heaven for all eternity. So, um, when you're dealing with self and dealing with that selfishness, you understand that you are God and you are God all by yourself in a sense. And that everything that you do is going to be concentrating on you and your growth. And as you grow with what you're growing with, and those things, if they are universal connected, if they are sent by the divine, if y'all are meant to be, however, whatever you want to say or see it or view it, and you know that those things are true, and those things that are yours, everything that you inherited in this physical realm that you contracted with in the spiritual realm before you entered in for whatever time it may be. If you're going to identify with the first, cool, or the 100th or the 1,000th time that you're entered into a different avatar, then cool. But same contract that you had, you have to stick to that and you grow with that. And they'll grow and produce the things that they need to, or however, whatever. And if there's any adjustments or any tweaking to do, then that will take place with you. For those things and accepting those individuals and those things for what they are is something that's going to have to grow within you. And you're going to be selfish with your decisions, your definitions, and your intentions, and have to understand them. So as that way, if there's a wrong to be proven or a right to be proven, in the end, you can take and make the proper uh, decisions, and you can handle yourself properly. You can adjust what need to be adjusted. You can grow in areas that you may need to grow and get more understanding in. Because from my experience, there's anything that I'm experiencing outwardly or externally in my life, no matter what shape, form, or fashion they come in, it is something internally that's either up under the microscope, has been up under the microscope, or is on the way of being up under the microscope. I don't know for what amount of times or whatever it may be, as they will say, until I get the lesson or I get the thought or I get clarity and get the understanding to operate from its proper power, then I can operate it from its truth and whatever it is. But being that selfishness and understanding that selfishness is the thing that you and being self-centered is all about self. You have to understand that. You have to understand that you have no more power over anyone else as for say as a legal right and authority to be in that forcefully, physically, mentally, or suppressively make someone else do your bidding. But you grow within inside of yourself, and if there's any truth to whatever it is or whatever that you're growing into in your spirituality, no matter what level, phase, or wherever you're at, if you're in Christianity, Catholic, Buddhist, Hinduist, Judaism, if you're with the Kabbalah, if you're with Taoism, if you're with the Moorish temples, if you're Jehovah, no matter whatever it may be, whatever thing that you're growing in and that you're doing in, that is a self operating guide for oneself. Anything and all these other things was created for help to grow within oneself, and it shows the possibility of what you can have when everything can still work independently, separately, but at the simultaneously work all together for the unison of one, the same way your body works. So being able to break things down to a molecular size and understanding from the atom to the collectiveness of your body, every different organ, every different tissue, every different bones, nervous system, lymphatics, whatever it may be, that they're all different atoms, they all are independently working together simultaneously for one objectively. And it's perfect harmony as long as you abide by your natural laws and your natural God given blood type laws through diet or whatever it may be. And it all starts with your spiritual and your mental. So understanding that selfishness is all right and it's good, it's all about self. You can quit stepping on other people's toes and spend that energy that you would try to spend trying to convert, convince, or coerce someone else to understand the way you see, view, or believe. You spend that energy with your damn self living that thing out and bring it to fruition or bring it to an expected end. And if there's any truth or any power into it, that thing in itself will plant inside of that individual and it will grow within that individual and improve itself. So to end result, to God be the glory, not to man. May God be glorified and not man. May God get the honor and the sacrifice and the glory and not me and not man. May I decrease while God increase. May all the things that need to be done for that individual and that individual success happen. So the best way for that to happen is if you remain yourself and be yourself and grow within thyself and you contribute and you play and give your contribute to a consciousness society way in this physical world in the best way that you can. Apples don't be orange juices, and orange juice just don't try to be apple juice. And neither one of them try to be a cranberry juice. Be you, grow within you. Learn and understand yourself and grow in those things. I'm on. Thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank those for that come on later on. Thank you for your likes tonight. Thank you for your shares. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your love. Most of all, thank you for your self dedication for growth within yourself and searching and seeking and reaching out and vibrating on a level that will bring you here so as maybe there was something that you can use or didn't use or whatever that may help you some shape, form, or fashion on your journey. Thank you for wanting to grow within yourself. I love you guys. Catch me next Wednesday. If I don't do another pop-up video or have any other videos, I want to thank you for joining our What's Up Wednesday show. And remember, it's all right to be selfish, and it's all right to be self-centered, and to grow within their self. Okay? Love you. Peace, love, and prosperity and extreme wealth to everyone. You guys have a great, great night.